Welcome back. We are here on SportsLine talking a whole bunch of different topics tonight. Our phone lines are still open, 737-7767. If you'd like to get in on the discussion, Titans OTA starting this week. Jack Conklin signed today, so the team's top pick, 8th overall, done with his rookie contract, well ahead of training camp. Certainly a good sign there. 8 of the 10 rookies now officially signed with the Titans. So John Robinson moving right along in his first foray as a general manager in terms of taking care of his contracts. Vanderbilt appears to have a women's basketball coach, and it is Indiana Fever head coach Stephanie White. So reaching up to the WNBA ranks to get a head coach. Carolyn Peck apparently part of a package deal there, so home run hires for them. We get set for the SEC baseball tournament this week as well. Vanderbilt will throw out the first pitch tomorrow morning against Missouri. Patrick Raby, young freshman right-hander, going to get the ball tomorrow for the Doors. He's 6-1 this year, made 9 starts, but hasn't really been a part of the weekend rotation for Vanderbilt for quite some time, since the very early part of the season. So he gets put in a very difficult spot tomorrow. Short turnaround from the weekend. You're not going to go with Jordan Sheffield or one of those weekend arms, Kyle Wright. And so Raby gets the ball tomorrow against Missouri. Meanwhile, the Tigers in a game it's pretty much a must-win for their season. They're not going to the NCAA tournament unless they win the automatic bid this weekend or do something miraculous. They're going with their ace, Tanner Houck, tomorrow in that game on short rest coming back from Thursday night. So he's going to go against Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt was able to win a game against him earlier this year that I think went to extra innings, so it wasn't necessarily off of him, but they swept the regular season series. We'll see what they can do tomorrow with Raby on the hill against Houck. And it'll be just interesting to see what this Vanderbilt team does in the postseason. The SEC tournament doesn't necessarily always indicate what you're going to do in the NCAA tournament. We've seen teams roll through the SEC tournament and win the championship, then struggle or get upset earlier in the super regionals of the NCAA tournament. But we've also seen teams like Vanderbilt a couple of years ago. I think they were in the same spot, the 6th seed in the tournament. I think that's where they were. And they went 1-2 in Hoover. Were done on Thursday. And then they go on and win the national championship. So there's no guarantee based off of the success in Hoover, but man, is that a test. Because of the arms, because of the quality of teams, 7 teams in the top 11 in the poll. Those are your top 7 seeds in the SEC tournament. So you got a bunch of teams that can really, really play down there in Hoover, and whoever wins will have a well-earned championship to take home with them, a good-sized trophy as well. But to me, this Vanderbilt team, while maybe they've played a little bit under the radar for most of this season, they're very intriguing as we head towards June here because of the arms. I mean, Jordan Sheffield's going to match up against anybody in terms of ace versus ace. And Kyle Wright is just as good as your number 2. So if you're Vanderbilt, you're thrilled about your top 2 pitchers that you can trot out there in games 1 and 2 of a regional or 1 and 2 of a super regional, and then they've got a bunch of arms beyond that can go for you and go extended innings. So this is a staff that is good. It's going to be one of the better staffs that we have seen out there. And other teams are going to struggle to match up with that. To me, the key is how do these young guys come along? Because you remember that 2014 team, they were a bit young too. They had their struggles in SEC play at times. They didn't play all that well in the SEC tournament. But then when they got to the NCAA tournament, their batting average as a team went up by like 25 points in the postseason. Dansby Swanson went nuts. Xander Wheel went nuts. Jordan Norwood went nuts. Bunch of guys played really, really well for them. That's what Vandy's hoping a lot of these young guys, Julian Infante, Paul, a guy like Raby on the mound, those guys are going to have to step up for Vanderbilt to make a run like that, but they're plenty talented. And now they've gone through the wars. You're 56 games in at this point. And you head into postseason play now. You're going to get at least one more with some pressure on you tomorrow morning. Hopefully several more throughout the week. going into next week. They're going to be tested when they get into the postseason. So those guys are going to be ready. Now we'll see if they can raise their game to yet another level. All right, phone lines are open. 737-7767 is the number. And we go to Courtney. Who we got? Dan. Thank you. Dan, good evening. You're next up here on SportsLine.
Hey, what's up, my man?
What's happening?
Hey, excellent show, as you always do.
Thank you.
I want to talk about the Titans, but real quick, the Golden State series, if I can go to the NBA just for a few seconds. Did you expect that outcome in the last game?
I certainly didn't expect a blowout like that. I thought Oklahoma City, if you saw the show last week with Shane Foster when he was in here, we talked a little bit about that. I thought Oklahoma City was going to give them a series because I think Billy Donovan has made them a better defensive team. They've got the length to affect some of those perimeter guys from Golden State. And frankly, as great as Steph Curry is, and maybe you can say he's the best player on the floor, if he is, or wherever he falls, 2 and 3 are Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook.
Oh my gosh.
No disrespect to Draymond Green or Klay Thompson, but those are 2 of the 3 best players in the series, no matter how you dice it up. And so they're going to get their points, and if they commit to defending and bothering those guys on the perimeter, I think they have a shot. Now, Golden State's incredible at home, and so the fact that they went in and won game 1, to me, was a huge shot in the arm.
Huge.
Because now all Oklahoma City has to do is win at home. And that place, I used to cover them, and if you go into Chesapeake Energy Arena, it is loud. Those fans are into it. I mean, it is their team, and they don't have another professional sport in the state to talk about. So Oklahoma City, the Thunder, that's their team, and that's who they're behind this time of year. So it is going to be a crazy environment just like it was last night, and now all OKC has to do is win game 4 at home and then come back and win game 6 at home. Obviously easier said than done, but they're in a whale of a position right now, up 2-1.
Yes, they are. Should Draymond Green be suspended?
He is not going to be. The NBA came out and they just fined him $25,000. I don't think so. And here's why, in my opinion, Dan. I think that he was trying to draw contact at the rim. He was trying to sell a foul. I don't think, so you can muddy the word intentional there. Right. He may have been trying to draw contact in any way, shape, or form and hit Steven Adams. Maybe not necessarily in that region, but he was trying to draw contact. That part was intentional, but I don't think it was malicious.
I don't either. I have to agree with you. I'm just saying, in my opinion, Draymond Green, what a player.
Oh, yeah.
And the spark for the team. I really believe what a plug-in. But he does have a history. But you have to take each situation one by one.
Sure, and again, I don't think it's malicious. I think he's a physical player. He played for Tom Izzo at Michigan State, and what a story, by the way, because he was a good college player, but now you could make an argument he's a top 5 to 10 player in the NBA at this point. And I don't think anybody saw that for him coming out of college, but he's developed into that by being a physical player, by playing hard all the time, by hustling, by going after guys, and he's a good distributor, he's a playmaker, he's a scorer, he's a rebounder, all of that stuff. And again, to just go back to the NBA's ruling, I'm fine with the fine. I'm fine with saying that was too far. I think all that's right. I think it would have been a mistake if they suspended him because he's such a key part of that team. And if you take him out of Game 4, the Warriors might be down 3-1 going back to Golden State. They may be down 3-1 going back to Golden State anyway, but at least this way they're going to have their full complement of players on the floor, and that's what we all want to see.
Let's have all the best on the floor, as long as they have done nothing, malicious, or with intent.
Right.
Let them play.
Right.
I totally agree. If I can have one more second, let's get to the Titans. We signed him. $10 million guaranteed, right?
I believe that is correct on Conklin. Yeah.
Fantastic, man. We get this offensive line together, and we get some drive, determination. My gosh, I believe we're going to make a major step. I see 8 or 9 wins. How do you see that?
Wow, 8 or 9 would be a major step. You're absolutely right, Dan. I'm going to have to run here, so thanks for the call. But 8 or 9 would be a huge step. I think the Titans are going to make a big step this year. I'm not sure I'm ready to pull the trigger on 8 or 9. I think we did a way too early prediction show on Sundays a few weeks back, and I think I had them at 6 wins, borderline 7 wins there. And we'll see as we actually see this team on the field over the next few weeks and working in to training camp in the fall. I think they're going to be much better. I think the AFC South is going to be much better as a division, but you got to like the direction this team is going in. And for the first time in a long time, I feel like there is a direction. You know, they got Mariota last year. He's the franchise piece. John Robinson comes in. He instills an attitude and a belief with these guys. And then you draft to that. These are physical, tough guys, Dodd and Conklin and Johnson and Derrick Henry, and then a Kevin Byard playmaker on your defensive side, a Sebastian Tritola later in the rounds, which is a smash-mouth offensive lineman. It's an attitude that John Robinson and Mike Mularkey's trying to build over there, and whether that leads to wins, I don't know. Nobody does at this point. But there is a feeling that things are different over there, and I think you feel it around the city right now, and Jack Conklin's a big part of that. So it's great news that he's already locked up, and now he can just focus on football and OTAs as they get set for the summer months before they take a little break and come back for training camp. Football season is almost here. If you believe it or not, I know for one, I am ready. All right, we need to take a break. We will come back. When we do, we will talk to Nathan Thompson, sports anchor out in Tulsa. He covers Oklahoma City, the Thunder, and that series at Golden State. We'll ask him some of those questions Dan just asked. Is he surprised that the Thunder had the lead in this series? What did he think about the Draymond Green incident? Some other stuff. We'll come back with that and more here on SportsLine on News Channel 5+.